So I want to talk about, expand on this and talk about what led up to my current state of activism. And um, I guess you could say I was raised Republican. Um, both my parents were conservative. My dad listened to Rush Limbaugh and all that. I can remember reading Rush Limbaugh's The Way Things Ought to Be in, I think it was 6th grade, and agreeing with most of what it said. Um, you know, still do agree with some of it. Um, it's funny, I listen to shit like that now and I wonder how I could have ever thought it was a good idea, but in any case, um, I guess I always liked third parties, but when it came down to it, would generally support the Republican, uh, basically like my parents. Um, although it, I didn't know that they were as big as they were. Had I known, I probably would have gotten in sooner, involved sooner. Um, so up until, you know, the shit hit the fan here a few years ago, I didn't think very much about politics, I guess. I mean, I thought about philosophy. I thought more about the whole atheism and religion to me. It was spirituality. I guess that's because that's what I had always attempted to have been shoved down my throat. After my dad moved down to Tennessee and remarried, uh, that became the general theme, and my discourse had to become on how to defend against that. So, uh, I don't know. Even though I had applied the Socratic method and the fallacies to Marx, when I had learned them, the teacher that introduced them to me also took us through the three philosophers of the 1800s, or whatever it was. We did Marx, Darwin, and Freud. Um, so yeah, and we talked about the Tao and oh man, a lot of different stuff. A lot of I guess it's left wing, but I didn't think too much about it. And he would always argue the philosophy from a communist standpoint, and I always assumed he was playing the devil's advocate, and that he was really a capitalist. Uh, and of course, I always defended, this supposed argument between communism and capitalism that was always put forth. I would always take the side of capitalism, of course, um, even as someone who understood and everything. And this would be one of the few people that would stand by capitalism after everything was put forth. Me and maybe a few other ardent uh, people. But um, it was, obviously something as evolved as anarchism was never talked about. And even, yeah, I remember even the distinction between communism and socialism was muddy, very muddy. I left high school not not understanding the difference, really. But I did understand a lot of other things that most kids didn't. I mean, I still struggle to understand the difference. I'm still learning. But Um, yeah, uh, really after um, moving out here and to Ohio and working, and then losing, I lost my job to uh, a drug screen, uh, and I I've been out of work since. And after, fuck, it was, yeah, that '05 or '04, '05 election or whatever. Um, yeah, the results of the last presidential election. After, I mean, I just couldn't put it down after that. I guess I don't know. And it was, and then I really found out about the Libertarian Party, at least about their ardent. I mean, I knew about them, but I didn't understand what it meant or anything like that. And once I was explained what, basically their support of, you know, marijuana law, um, yeah, I was on board. um, because became and still is my primary motivation for um, political reform, political activism, whatnot. Um, so to me, yeah, it's an I feel like I've been, basically a victim of the drug war. If you want to, hear my sob story. Um, and it's not that I don't care for any kind of compensation or whatever. I don't want a handout. I'm not looking for a handout. I just want to be able to go back to work. I just want, um, you know, an equal chance to be able to provide labor, uh, and a system that does that regardless. A system where um, arbitrary factors are mitigated, where you can choose your association regardless of arbitrary factors. Um, so, anything that increases that uh, has really been of interest to me. And so I've been really moving from, uh, like a capital L libertarian, from to, anarcho-capitalist to, uh, I don't know, market anarchist, but I guess they're kind of the same. I still feel that that's kind of, I guess, the big umbrella we're all under, because it seems the safest thing to call us all anymore. But I know we don't like that word, capitalism. But yeah, and recently I have been drifting a lot closer to what's called primitivism. Although I don't like that word, primitivism, because I don't think uh, that we need to cast off machines or technology. I don't see why we can't use it in some utilitarian way. Um, yeah, so hopefully it's a little bit more about me and not too much information. And I'm not looking for sympathy or anything. I'm just laying it all out there. So, yeah.